Hey everyone, it's Joe Bradley here in Houston, Texas, and actually we're in my backyard once again. For those of you who know, my wife and I were actually growing a garden back here, and we actually decided to do a garden that was completely organic because we didn't want to have to worry about any other kind of things going on or whatever. So if you want some healthy food, then you'll soon be able to come back here and for those of you who remember, we were out here about a month ago when we started everything, and it was nothing but dirt. You saw just a few leaves and a few, plants coming up, but we've had some awesome rain since that time. And so what I want to do right now is I'm going to turn the camera around so that you can see what has happened since we kept watering, and that we didn't actually have to water it too much because God and I kind of had we came to an agreement, and he decided that he would take care of the water bill for the last couple of months for the garden, or for the last month pretty much for the garden. And so I'm going to turn this around, and those of you who have seen my first video with the garden and everything, you're going to be in for a nice little treat. I'm trying to get the lighting as good as possible, but when it's you and the sun, then it just kind of all depends on what happens. So here's the garden, and as you can see, we have come a very long way. Uh, this is what consistency does. This is what persistence does. This is what happens when you allow nature to take its course. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. As you can see, the cucumbers, this is squash right here. And I'm going to go to the plant. You can kind of see, yeah. Look. You can see the squash right there. That's a nice, pretty big squash, ain't it? And I don't even think it's close to being ready yet. We're also going to, I want you to see some of the tomatoes and the jalapenos and stuff. I'm pretty excited, as you can tell. Here goes some more squash. As you can see, let me get over. Oh, now you got to see this. You got to see these. Look. Right there, look at that squash. Now, the only thing we got to do now is make sure the insects don't eat up the leaves. But look at that big squash right there. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, if I have to say so myself. Here goes. Don't want to step in the garden. Whoa. Okay, we got bees and wasps hanging around too. And I don't get along with either one of those. So if I kind of run, then you know why I ran. If I run, then y'all run too. Okay. Here goes the jalapenos. Oh, okay. Y'all see that? Yeah, right here. That's the jalapenos. And just let me know if you can't see anything. And I'm just playing. I know you guys can't let me know. Uh, and now I want to take you to the tomato plants. This is where it gets awesome and exciting, right? Because look at this tomato. Whoa! Look at these tomatoes. This tomato right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's just one tree or one plant. I don't know. Is a tomato a plant or a tree? I don't know. We got cucumbers down here, and the cucumbers have started to run. We have a lot of stuff. But there goes some more tomatoes right there. I don't know if you can see them on the tree or on the plant or whatever. Look at that tomato right there. That is awesome. Oh, yeah. I forgot. We have eggplants down there. And there's a bell pepper. This is what I want to show you. Hopefully you can see it. There's a bell pepper right there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a bell pepper right there. Some more jalapenos, a different kind. Yeah, these are some different jalapeno peppers. Those dark green ones. Can you see those right there? Those dark green peppers right there. I don't want to step in the garden, so that's why I'm doing it this way. And here goes some more tomatoes. We have enough tomatoes to actually help the farmers market out. I just want to let you know. And then these are cucumbers right here. Now, we're moving quite a bit, moving around quite a bit. Uh, Got some more tomatoes right here. And I'm not sure what this is yet, but it's definitely, I think these might be green peas, but I don't know for sure. Don't get me to lying, but I know that they're coming up. Some more squash. And then these here, this right here is our onion bed. You can see the beds of onions, the bed of onions. Now, the way that works is we're supposed to dig around whenever those onion bells start showing up, right? Supposed to dig around and stuff like that, and so that the bells can grow bigger. But what I want to talk about today, obviously, is the power of consistency, but how really consistency it consistency kind. I'm gonna go in the house because it's kind of consistency. It it really depends on our belief, right? It depends on our belief. I'll stand right here. This is cool. Consistency depends on our belief, and our belief, the word belief or the word believe, it literally means to live by. And so whatever we decide to believe, whatever we believe, we're going to live by that, right? And what we live by is what I call a creed. A creed. Say creed. See, a creed is something that we go by regardless, right? This is how we function. This is what we function off of. And so the reality of it is that this garden, once I planted those seeds, I believed, because nature has it this way, I believed that when I planted the seeds, that eventually they were going to come out. And for those of you who remember, I talked about that in a bed of dirt. When it was nothing but dirt, I talked about how some of the plants were starting to show and all that stuff, but I wasn't going to get frustrated just because nothing showed up. Right now, some people have, and many people have, what I call a pessimistic creed. They have a very pessimistic creed. And that pessimistic creed tells them that because it's not here, that means it's not coming, right? And I may be talking to you right now because you've been in your business, you've been striking at every single chord that you could find. You've been jumping from strategy to strategy because you just can't seem to make any money. You can't seem to overcome whatever it is you're trying to overcome. It seems like nothing is working. Is that you listening to this video right now? It seems like nothing is working. No matter how hard you try, nothing is working. No matter what you do, nothing seems to work. And it's like, man, what can I do? What can I do? How come I'm not making any money? How come I can't find leads? And I had somebody just the other day ask me, how do I find leads? And I told them, man, you got to be consistent. You got to find something that works and work it. But really, in order to find something that works, you got to have to do it first. Just because, and I said this in the last video when I was here in the garden, just because there isn't any fruit or any vegetable showing up on the garden or on the plants doesn't mean that I'm doing something wrong. Just because you're failing doesn't mean you're always doing something wrong. It just means that you haven't been doing it long enough, right? So I want you to think about this. Think about the farmer, if you will. And I've actually, since I started planting this garden, and since I started working in this garden and everything, life has really looked a whole lot different to me in that I've been looking at everything in terms of a garden. And I know that I can't get the fruit off of the tree immediately. I can't get the vegetables off of the plant immediately. I have to plant it, I have to water it, and then I have to let nature take its course. Well, if I have a pessimistic creed, then I'm not going to stay around long enough to allow the fruit or the vegetables to come up on the plants. Does that sound familiar? In other words, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get frustrated because when I planted the seed, it wasn't there the next day. Well, that's how many of us think in our space, in the internet marketing, network marketing, MLM, affiliate marketing, whatever you want to do, direct market, whatever it is that you do, real estate. We find ourselves cramming in the farm. Right, and what that means, or we're cramming in the garden, what that means is I'm planting a seed, I'm planting my plants, and then the next day it's not there, and so I'm moving on to something else. Well, jumping from strategy to strategy would make about as much sense as me planting something in this garden and then it doesn't show up, and so the next day I'm to somewhere else. Look, you're never going to find any kind of fruit or any kind of vegetables coming in your own backyard as long as you're jumping from strategy to strategy, as long as you keep uprooting the seed. Plant the seed and move on. When you plant the seed, nature will take its course. The rain, the water. See, we can't control any of that stuff. And I believe Tyler Perry actually talks about this. All you can control is the seed. But when you spread yourself so thin, there's only so much energy that you have to put towards one thing. And so when you spread yourself thin, or actually there's only so much energy that you have, period. And so when we spread ourselves too thin, then we only have so much water we could put on the seeds. And I just decided that I was going to focus on the seeds in my backyard, on the garden in my backyard, and I was going to grow those. I was going to stay around until nature brought them out. See, nature never says no, and that's what we have to get into our thinking. Nature never says no. When we plant the seed, nature never says no. Well, Joe, I don't understand, because sometimes I plant seeds and it doesn't grow. Well, that's still nature. See, because if I plant the seed but I don't nourish it right, if I plant it in the garden but I don't nourish it right, I don't do the right things, I don't treat it the right way, I don't give it the right cultivation, I try to pluck it up too early or try to benefit from it too early, then nature's going to take its place and die. Nature happens either way. But it's the creed that we have that tells us how to treat the plant in the garden. And I hope I'm helping somebody today. And even if this is not for business, this is for life, this is for relationships, whatever. You know, I know technology moves fast, but we can't move as fast as technology in our relationships. And when we generate a lead, that lead, it becomes, and I said this in the last video before, that lead becomes a seed or a plant in our garden. And we have to respect the time that it takes for the fruit to grow. All right? So what that means, though, is that we have to have a mindset, not of a pessimist that says it's not going to happen, but an opportunist. And I don't mean an opportunist by jumping on everything that comes that looks new, but I'm talking about finding every opportunity to benefit that plant, to benefit that vegetable, whatever, right? I've been watering these plants and watering this garden, well, rain mostly, but I've been watering this garden, and to be honest, I haven't really thought too much about how good those tomatoes are going to taste, right? I haven't thought too much about how good the cucumbers are going to be and how awesome it's going to be able to take those jalapenos. I haven't really thought about that. I'm actually excited to watch them grow. I'm excited, and I'm actually becoming one with the garden and watching as nature happens, and it's happening according to how I treat nature, right? Well, you know what? When I started growing this garden, then I'm done. When I started growing this garden, I actually started treating people the same way as I treat this garden, and respecting the time, respecting the fact that nature has to take place. You know, if I'm looking for something from someone, then I really have to stop and think about what is it that I can do for them. Because in order to really receive, you have to be willing to give up first what you want. You have to be willing, whatever it is you want, you have to be willing to give it away first in order to get it. And that's the principle. I don't care if you read the Bible, I don't care if you read the Talmud, I don't care if you read the Dalai Lama books or Hinduism, whatever it is, you're going to find this concept, because this is the concept that works the most. Now, here's the thing. It can't be just for the sake of recruiting them into your business, or just for the sake of turning them into customers. See, when we build a list, we're not building a list just so that we can get a customer. I know you're thinking like, Joe, that sounds crazy. What am I building a list for? No. What we're doing, see, we're not just simply just trying to make sales. We're not simply just trying to build a team. Because if that's the focus, then it shines right through. And it shows right through. And then what you're doing is a form of manipulation. And manipulation always ends up running out of energy and running out of space and running into a dead end, because it shows your genuine nature, your genuine intention eventually shows, right? And there's a book that you need to read. I don't know if you've read it before, but it's by Stephen Covey, one of the best teachers in personal growth and development that I've ever come across. And I've actually put him in my council. He's one of the members of my council, and I often seek his expert counsel to help me through my life and through my situations. And one thing that he said is that when you're not genuinely interested in others, then it's going to show up no matter how good it looks pretending, right? So you have to literally and genuinely be interested in how you can fix other people. And I'm going to tell you something. There's nothing more fulfilling than being able to watch people grow because you're taking care of them. But here's the thing. If I stop watering this garden today, and if it doesn't rain another day, if I stop watering this garden, nature happens, but nature's going to happen in the reverse. It's going to go right back to nothing, right? So here's what I want to say, and then I'm done. If you want to grow your business, if you want to grow your team, stop focusing on the fact that you haven't made a sale yet. Stop focusing on the fact you don't have any customers. Stop focusing on the fact that you don't have a list, because if you focus on those things, then everything you focus on will become more of that. So you're focusing on, I can't do this, I haven't done this, I haven't made one sale yet, I just haven't made anything yet, I'm hoping that something happens, but I haven't made anything yet. All you're doing is focusing on the fact, and you're watering the seeds of nothingness, you're watering the seeds of poverty, you're watering the seeds of being broke and never amounting to anything. You're watering the seeds of never being able to do any of those things. Instead, focus on what it is that you can do to make those plants grow. And I guarantee that when they grow, you won't have to ask anybody. I won't have to ask that plant, any of those plants that you saw, I won't have to ask any of them for fruit. But you know why? Because they will be glad to let it go, because I've taken so much care of them. They'll be glad. I won't have to ask them anything. They'll say, can I offer you some tomatoes? Can you imagine my tomato plant just saying, hey Joe, can I offer you some of these tomatoes? I have plenty to go around. Right? You've been so good to me in the process, and you've made these. I wouldn't have these tomatoes if it wasn't for you. Give what you are good at. Give it away. Give it to them. Offer it to them. Build them up. And the fruit of your labor will grow on their limbs, and you'll be able to benefit. And it's going to feel so good because it wasn't a manipulative tactic. All right, so if you want to learn more, about how to actually build good relationships, and if you want to learn how to generate leads left and right for no matter what it is you're doing, then there's a link below. I'm going to invite you to click it, because the formula that we use works, and it works every time. I'm Joe Bradley. I'll see you next time from Houston, Texas, from my backyard. And I'll be in the garden a few more times, so I look forward to seeing you. Click on the link below, and I'll see you on the inside.